I want to be a Jedi.
Yeah, I know you do, Jacen.
The son of Hera Syndulla, who is a human character despite his mother being a Twi'lek, made his live-action debut in Ahsoka Episode 3. Hera Syndulla, the best pilot for the Rebellion, is the current subject of Ahsoka's further exploration of Star Wars Rebels characters and plots. The character of Hera's child had not yet appeared in another Star Wars program, when the finale of Star Wars Rebels introduced him or her. In Ahsoka Episode 3, as Ahsoka Tano and Sabine Wren resumed their Jedi training, Hera Syndulla made an effort to enlist the help of the New Republic in her search for Grand Admiral Thrawn. Hera's son, Jacen, who came a few minutes later, was mentioned at the beginning of her convoluted encounter with Mon Mothma and the Senators. Hera became upset when she learned that Jacen Syndulla aspires to follow in his father's footsteps and become a Jedi. Jacen Syndulla appears human, not Twi'lek, which is interesting. Jacen Syndulla, Ahsoka's son, is human because Kanan Jarrus, who was also a human, was his father. Jacen made his debut appearance in the Star Wars Rebels epilogue, which shockingly revealed that Hera was expecting when Kanan died. Jacen Syndulla is hence a mix of Twi'lek and human. However, Hera's son exhibits more human than Twi'lek features, suggesting that the human gene is the dominant one. Although Kanan and Hera were not the first human Twi'lek to marry in the Star Wars universe, their significance to the story is unparalleled. Jacen Syndulla's introduction in Rebels, followed by his live-action debut in Ahsoka, was big news for this reason. Prior to the destruction of the Jedi, Kanan Jarrus, then Caleb Dume, was a Jedi Padawan who survived Order 66. A few years later, Kanan and Hera were now in charge of a troop of rebels. Kanan and Hera's early romantic involvement was alluded to in Rebels, strengthening the sense of community in the program. Kanan and Hera were the parents, while Chopper was the household pet. Ezra Bridger, Sabine Wren, and Zeb Orrelios were sort of the children. Jacen Syndulla joined the Rebels family, however he sadly never got to meet his father. In Star Wars Rebels Season 4, Kanan Jarrus passed away just before Jacen was born. There are still some of Hera's Twi'lek traits in Jacen Syndulla. Jacen Syndulla's father gave him human characteristics, but he also possesses certain Twi'lek characteristics from Hera. Jacen Syndulla, for instance, inherited his mother's green hair, however it is unclear why his skin is not also green. In the Star Wars Rebels epilogue, not much was seen of Jacen, however he had his parents' trait of having blue eyes. Jacen Syndulla, who looks to be an Ahsoka, has brown eyes. The green accents around Jacen's eyes and ears in Star Wars Rebels were a significant addition to his look and further emphasized his connection to his Twi'lek mother. Ahsoka's live-action Jacen Syndulla's different eye color and lack of green around his ears and eyes are minor features that have little bearing on the character and his return to the Star Wars universe. It is nothing new for Star Wars to significantly alter a character's appearance when transporting them from one medium to another. In fact, with the live-action shows returning the animated series, it will likely become much more prevalent. Curiously, prior to Ahsoka, a Star Wars Rebels rumor spread that Jacen's hair was originally brown and that Sabine had simply colored it green. The live-action acting debut of Jacen Syndulla disproved this hypothesis. Although the previous cases do not seem entirely human like Hera's son does, Jacen Syndulla is not the first human Twi'lek hybrid in Star Wars. For instance, a family made up of a Twi'lek and a clone deserter was seen in Star Wars: The Clone Wars as they attempted to flee the conflict and lead peaceful lives. Shee Lochwain and Jek Lochwain were their two children. Although Cut Lochwain was the biological father of Sue Lochwain's children, it is known that Cut Lochwain also served as their adoptive father. So, like Jacen Syndulla, Jek and Shee Lochwain were half human, half Twi'lek. They did not, however, resemble Jacen. In comparison to Jacen, Jek and Shee exhibited a much greater number of Twi'lek characteristics, such as the hue of their skin and the presence of a pair of leku in place of hair. Compared to Jacen, Jek and Shee still possessed certain human characteristics, such as their facial features. Jacen Syndulla was introduced before Jek and Shee, hence Jacen's human characteristics can be viewed as a Star Wars retcon. After Hera's son made his television debut in Rebels, it became obvious that a human Twi'lek hybrid may either have more human traits, like Jacen Syndulla, or more Twi'lek features, like those of Jek and Shee Lochwain. It is puzzling that Star Wars Rebels chose a different look for Jacen given that Cut Lochwain episodes of Star Wars: The Clone Wars had already established what a human Twi'lek hybrid is supposed to look like in canon. Hera's father and his team, as well as other Twi'lek characters, had already made appearances on the show. Star Wars would even go back to Hera's youth in Ryloth in Season 1 of The Bad Batch. That being said, compared to live action, it is perhaps far simpler to have stories focused on Twi'lek characters in animation. Special effects for Twi'leks or any other Star Wars character with a pair of leku can be fairly difficult. For instance, Ahsoka Tano's Leku in The Mandalorian Season 2 were noticeably shorter than they were in Star Wars Rebels. In The Mandalorian, Ahsoka's Leku appeared to be shorter than other shock tie or adult Togruta that had featured in Star Wars. This is due to the concern that having such a long pair of Leku would affect Rosario Dawson's performance, a problem that the Ahsoka series appears to have solved. Nevertheless, it is challenging to have a primary character that is a Twi'lek or a Togruta because to the extensive makeup required and the technical difficulties. It's considerably trickier to strike the ideal balance when creating a human Twi'lek hybrid figure. As a result, the choice to have Jacen Syndulla look more human than Twi'lek in Star Wars Rebels may be related to future plans for the characters. Jacen Syndulla could eventually make a comeback as a Jedi in a new Star Wars film or television series, possibly even in live action, thanks to the addition of a Force-sensitive youngster in the timeline following Return of the Jedi. Despite the fact that The Mandalorian's success allowed for the development of shows like Ahsoka, Dave Filoni always had the intention of bringing Ahsoka and other characters to live action at some point. For instance, Bo-Katan was modeled after Katee Sackhoff, who provided the character's voice in the event that she ever makes a live-action appearance. Jacen's appearance as a human could have also served as a clue to the Rebels that this was Kanan's offspring. The Rebels series finale never explicitly states that Spectre 7 is Hera's child or that Kanan is his father. Therefore, Star Wars Rebels made it plain that this was the offspring of Hera Syndulla and Kanan Jarrus by having a human child with green hair using the Force while sitting in the co-pilot seat of the Ghost. In any case, Hera's son's human-like appearance undoubtedly contributed to the character's live-action portrayal in Ahsoka Episode 3. We don't yet know how much of an impact Jacen Syndulla will have on Ahsoka.